As the skin of the corpse decomposed, Tanzler replaced it with silk cloth soaked in wax and plaster of Paris. As the hair fell out of Elena's decomposing scalp, Tanzler fashioned a wig from her hair, which he had previously obtained from her mother. Tanzler filled the corpse's abdominal and chest cavity with rags to keep the original form, dressed Elena's remains in stockings, jewellery and gloves, and kept the body in his bed. Tanzler also used copious amounts of perfume, disinfectants and preserving agents to mask the odour and forestall the effects of the corpse's decomposition. In October 1940, Elena's sister, Florinda, heard rumours of Tanzler sleeping with the disintegrated body of her sister and confronted Tanzler at his home, where Elena's body was eventually discovered. He was also caught dancing with her corpse in front of an open window. Florinda notified the authorities and Tanzler was arrested and detained. Tanzler was psychiatrically examined and found mentally competent to stand trial on the charge of wantonly and maliciously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. After a preliminary hearing on October 9, 1940 at the Monroe County Courthouse in Gate West, Tanzler was held to answer on the charge, but the case was eventually dropped and he was released as the statute of limitations for the crime had expired. Shortly after the corpse's discovery by authorities, Elena's body was examined by physicians and pathologists and put on public display at the Dean Lopez Funeral Home, where it was viewed by as many as 6,800 people. Elena's body was eventually returned to the Gay West Cemetery, where the remains were buried in an unmarked grave in a secret location to prevent further tampering. The facts underlying the case and the preliminary hearing drew much interest from the media at the time, most notably from the Gay West Citizen and Miami Herald, and created a sensation among the public, both regionally and nationwide. The public mood was genuinely sympathetic to Tanzler, who many viewed as an eccentric romantic. Though not reported, research has revealed evidence of Tanzler's necrophilia with Elena's corpse. Two physicians who attended the 1940 autopsy of Elena's remains record in 1972 that a vaginal tube had been inserted in that area basically to allow for intercourse. Others contend that since no evidence of necrophilia, I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly, was presented at the 1940 preliminary hearing, and because the physician's proof surfaced in 1972, home 3 weeks after